Have you ever seen the news covering an oil spill? And have you seen the pictures and videos of how harming and catastrophic these oil spills are? These oil spills happen every day. And while they're not on as big of a scale as the ones that you will see on the news or read in the newspaper, they are still absolutely catastrophic. And a big reason for these oil spills is the fact that we give subsidies to fossil fuel industries. Now, according to the Environmental and Energy Study Institute, also known as the EESI, conservative estimates put U.S. direct subsidies to the fossil fuel industry at roughly $20 billion per year. $20 billion, with 20% currently allocated to coal and 80% to natural gas and crude oil. That money helps those companies produce more fossil fuels, and with more production, there will be a much greater chance of an accident happening. So why does this matter? The more money we put into fossil fuels, the more likely we are to have an oil spill. Every time there is an oil spill, billions have to be spent to clean it up. On top of that, it harms the environment, as well as poses health threats to humans. Now, having seen what these oil spills can do, and researching and debating this topic for 2 months, it has shown me that subsidies for fossil fuels are dangerous and not nearly spoken about as much as they should be. And this is a topic that many more need to be informed on. The process of fossil fuel companies getting these subsidies is pretty simple. Fossil fuel companies receive subsidies so they can manufacture more gas, coal, and other subsidies. Now, keep in mind, that's $20 billion annually to help do so. According to Oil Change International, companies use that money for exploration, extraction, and even development, which means more mining in different areas because they get $20 billion annually to do so. This also means more harmed environments, something that we don't need more of in the world. When a company gets land to mine oil, that company needs at least 10 acres to be able to mine. And that is just for one mining plant. A singular mining plant needs 10 acres to mine. The Wilderness Society states that extracting gas and oil disrupts wildlife habitats and can be deadly to animals. The main habitat that can be destroyed are the ocean habitats. Now, the National Ocean Service states scientists concluded that the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, one that you may be familiar with, killed thousands of marine mammals and sea turtles. And not only that, it contaminated their habitats. The IXTOC-1 oil spill resulted in somewhere between 126 million and 140 million gallons of gas being released into the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico. And some of this oil washed up on the beaches from the western Yucatan Peninsula to southern Texas. That's a wide range. Now, that resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars in lost tourism revenue. And not only that, it reduced the commercial fishing in the region for as many as 5 years afterward. So we're not only harming our habitats, we're also hurting families that rely on that tourism revenue. Now, the Grand Forks Herald reports that it took up to 40,000 man-hours, 40,000, to clean up one pipeline spill. So as you can see, these are not easy accidents to clean. It's not a small mistake. They take a lot of money, and as you can see with the IXTOC-1 example, it takes years to get things close to how they used to be. Now, on top of that, the Gulf Wildlife Report from 2011 states, in total, we found that the oil spill has likely killed or harmed approximately 82,000 birds of 102 different species, approximately 6,165 sea turtles, and up to 25,900 marine mammals, including bottlenose dolphins, spinner dolphins, melon-headed whales, and even sperm whales. Now, as long as these companies continue to get more money from subsidies annually, this is going to continue to happen at a rate which is simply unnecessary. That doesn't mean that all oil spills can be stopped, but it does mean we can cut down on the harm we are doing to ourselves and our wildlife habitats. Now, another big way that these subsidies harm is the effect that it has on human life. The Environmental and Energy Study Institute shows stats estimating that fine particulate matter from U.S. coal plants resulted in 13,200 deaths, 9,700 hospitalizations, and 20,000 heart attacks in 2010. That's in 1 year alone. Coal-fired power plants are also the largest source of airborne mercury emissions in the United States. Air pollutants from fossil fuels also contribute to the development of lung and other cancers. Lung cancer accounts for 30% of cancer-related deaths each year. Air pollutants, such as those released from vehicles and power plants that rely on the combustion of fossil fuels, cause 200,000 premature deaths each year. And on top of that, an unforeseen effect of this is the change in DNA that it can cause. This is a change in DNA that can create mutations that can be inherited by future generations, and thus creating a generational cycle of cancer. So, now you can see the many ways that these subsidies for fossil fuels are harmful, and you're a little more informed on the topic. Now, if these companies continue to get more subsidies, that means more harm to our habitats, wildlife, and even our own human way of life. So, hopefully after hearing this speech, you can leave being a little more informed, knowing a little bit more about this dangerous topic, these dangerous subsidies, on one of the biggest wildlife crises that faces our generation today. This is a big problem that largely goes untalked about, and that is why I chose to speak on this topic and inform you on these subsidies for fossil fuels today. Thank you.